The Insane Asylum is episode 4 of Stasis Nightmares, a really cool series that we've been following from Nightmare Tales. Make sure to go over to his channel and subscribe, guys, and let's get into this animation. Alright. 243 days since they left Earth here.
This citizen, Diana Larson, a hugely successful financier on Earth, finds herself incarcerated in an asylum for the criminally insane.
Alright.
Diana was convicted of murdering all 8 board members and the secretary of her company after they voted against her proposal to launch a hostile takeover of a rival corporation.
Wow.
She denied the accusation. However, the meeting minutes taken by the slain secretary detailed how Diana was unanimously overruled and a heated argument had ensued.
Okay.
Diana was found unconscious on the floor of the room by security staff that had been alerted by gunshots.
With the gun.
She was still clutching the pistol in her hand.
Wow.
During her trial, she continuously stated that she had no recollection of the events.
Right.
The evidence was damning though, and the final nail in her coffin came during the prosecution's closing argument where Diana, infuriated with all that was being said about her, leapt from where she sat and bit the ear off the terrified lawyer.
Oh my
The
god.
continued violent outbursts and a damning psychological assessment landed her in the situation
Oh my gosh.
in which she finds herself to this day. She said she didn't consider
What a
herself
nightmare.
insane, but what person in such a compromised mental state would?
Right.
Fully coherent and able to recall everything before and after the event, she deemed herself to be completely innocent
Right.
and the victim of a setup.
Okay.
She would now
It's
have
possible.
daily meetings with her psychiatrist, to whom
They
she
got
was
her in a
completely
mask,
closed off
chains.
from. She didn't mutter a word, still in shock and angry from how she came to be in this situation.
Well, of course.
The psychiatrist would ramble on for hours, the majority being completely incoherent gibberish. Diana felt it should be her doctor who should be locked up in here, not her. Not willing to admit
Wow.
to her affliction, she was subjected to electric
Oh,
shock
no.
therapy, where she would be strapped down to a bed and then thousands of volts pulsed through her brain
God.
in an attempt
Dang.
to cure her mental disorder. Outside
What
of
a
this,
nightmare.
Diana would spend the remainder of her time alone, in her cell, incarcerated within the dark halls and cold concrete
You would think
walls
People used to
of the
actually
insane asylum.
think that it would help.
After several
people
months of no progress,
doing that,
the
it's
asylum
crazy.
director, fully aware of Diana's strong background in finance, entered one of the psychiatric sessions and asked if Diana would be interested in assisting with the institution's accounts.
What?
Diana's eyes lit up for the first time she had been admitted, and she agreed, for she knew it would at least give her something to do that she enjoyed
Would you even
to pass
trust
the time.
that?
Her doctor,
if
however,
she had that
strictly
kind of
advised against it.
reputation?
Diana was a dangerous and unpredictable criminal who should not be trusted or left unsupervised at any time.
Yeah, that's what you
The
would
director
think.
assured her that she would remain in full facial and limb restraints at all times,
Okay.
and that she would remain under his watchful eye for the entire time she was in his
They
company.
just want to use her brain.
The psychiatrist was clearly not happy about this arrangement, but had no choice but to let it go ahead.
Okay.
Diana was removed from her solitary confinement once a week and led in chains through the damp, dark hall, past the screams and moans of other inmates,
Gosh.
to the asylum director's office.
What a crazy place, man.
He treated her well and watched over her like a hawk as she was asked to siphon money from the government funds supplied to the asylum into a cryptocurrency account that would be nearly impossible to trace back to the director.
What?
Although Diana had been forced to hand over her directorship and voting rights of her company to her husband post the incident, she was still a qualified accountant and took responsibility for the transactions.
Right.
A move the director would use in his defense if he were ever to be caught for the illegal activities in which they were both partaking.
My.
Over time, Diana became comfortable and conversational around the director and
Yeah.
appeared to be making more progress in regards to adapting back to civilized society.
Of course.
She was, however, still completely closed around her psychiatrist,
Okay.
who was far from convinced at her progress, and was also failing miserably at hiding her jealousy towards the relationship that was slowly developing between her patient and the director. For this, the psych began to treat Diana even worse. She implemented a program of treatment that would double the voltage applied during each subsequent electroshock therapy session.
Oh no.
When Diana learned about this, she had a panic attack and a complete meltdown.
I guess so.
This did nothing more than reinforce the theory that Diana needed the treatment more than ever.
Oh my gosh.
Diana was dragged off to the treatment room screaming. She bawled her eyes out and demanded to see the asylum director. Who? The psych fired back. There's no one of that title here. What? Diana shrieked back. Stop playing with me. I need to see the director.
Wait, what?
I want to see the man in charge. The psych began to play a game with her. The one in charge? You mean the Emperor?
Emperor?
Huh? What the hell are you talking about? Diana shot back. The Emperor? I need to see the director. There's no director here, the psych calmly replied. Only the Emperor, in his levitating chamber. Huh? What? Diana was confused, frustrated and confused.
Me too.
So she played along. Fine. I want to see the Emperor then. Oh, you do? The psych smiled. And how do you propose you'll get there? Diana was quick to fire back out of frustration. On my flying broomstick, of course. How else? I see. So you're telling me you want to fly on a broomstick to see our Emperor in his levitating chamber?
Oh my gosh.
Diana exhaled. Yes, that's right. The psych now grinned an evil smirk. Well, it's completely clear to me now. You really are insane. Diana was petrified. She had no options. She was at the mercy of this madwoman.
Gosh.
The psych gave the orderlies a nod, and within seconds, they had moved in on Diana and began the brutally painful electrotherapy.
Wow, dude.
Diana was wheeled back to her room and then dumped on the floor. The massive steel door slammed shut behind her, leaving her alone in the dark in excruciating
I feel so
pain.
bad for her.
She struggled to lift herself up. She knew that she either had to make it to her bed before she passed out, or it would mean spending the night suffering on the cold concrete floor. She tried, but couldn't do it. She was exhausted and her head was pounding. On the cusp of giving up, a hand came out of the darkness.
Is it Dan's hand?
She screamed and was suddenly able to right herself and make her way to a sitting position against the steel door. The dark figure then moved closer to her and put a finger to his lips.
It is him.
Look, he said, I can get you out of here, but I need your help. What? She replied. Who are you? How did you get in here? It's not important, he replied. Do you want to get out of here?
If you watched the previous episodes, you would know who that is.
Holding back her tears.
I'll try to recap.
Good. Then I need you to get us a map, he went on. The one in the director's office, the one that shows the layout of the entire asylum. Once you have that, I'll help you escape.
Okay.
Right, said Diana. I know it. I can get it. Tomorrow. I'll have it. Excellent. I'll be here, said the man.
If you could get into the cell.
Into the shadows. What the hell was going
on?
Why couldn't
you get to the map, though?
I really am going insane. The next afternoon, she was taken to the director's office as per the usual routine. The director,
in the whole
having grown
Stasis
comfortable
project,
with her being around, did not keep her under his strict supervision. In fact, as per this instance, he left the room to liaise with other staff. Diana sat there in silence, working through the transactions, having completely forgotten about her encounter with the strange man the night before. That was until she looked up from the desk
and remembered.
And saw the map.
Okay, good.
Diana finished her task and was taken back to her cell just prior to nightfall.
Right.
She sat there, alone, feeling like an idiot. Why did she take the map? She would surely be found out, and then they would probably kill her during the electrotherapy the next day.
Maybe.
She felt waves of guilt, regret, and terror wash over her. Sure enough, she was found out.
Yeah.
The psych had been in the director's office and noticed that the map was missing. She immediately knew where it had gone.
Uh-oh.
She stormed down the halls in a furious rage, ready to unleash hell on Diana. Diana sat in her room terrified.
About to go down,
She
y'all.
could hear the psych's hard shoes clapping against the tiles, getting closer and closer. She didn't know what she was going to do. She had no defense. The door burst open and the psych stood at the doorway with a maniacal grin on her face. She was going to enjoy this, but before she could, she was pulled into the room and thrown to the ground, knocked unconscious.
By Dan?
The man had returned.
Hey!
And Diana was saved. The two of them then wasted no time disappearing into the dark halls of the asylum.
Right.
And on their way to freedom.
Wow.
The next morning, The orderlies came to Diana's room to find what they thought was an overly animated and violent Diana. They wheeled her off into the electrotherapy room, kicking and screaming all the while.
Right, it's the
Once
doctor.
strapped down, they proceeded to put an increased dosage of electricity through the patient, sending her into a series of excruciating convulsions.
And she died.
Minutes later, the psychiatrist was brain dead.
Yep.
Back on the ship, Diana had drifted out of her deep dream state into regular stasis once more. And
Dan J.
Blacker
Blacker
smiled, for everything was coming together perfectly.
Oh, I cannot wait to see how this goes, y'all. So, Dan J. Blacker has been revisiting, has been in all of these episodes, right? And he seems to be part of corrupting innocent people to do very bad things. So, there's you need to just look at the series from Nightmare Tales. I have it all in the playlist. You should definitely look at it because it's getting really, really good. Speaking of which, go subscribe to Nightmare Tales as well as a couple other Nightmare Tales reactions that I did. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.